I taught 100 kids.
Okay, guys, today is day 51 trying to make $1 million. So there are only 314 days left to make $1 million, and I have no idea how to make $1 million. So, right now, there are only 10 months, 11 days, and 4 hours. 10 months, 11 days, and 3 hours to make $1 million, bro. That's all I have, and I'm running out of time and out of ideas, bro. It's very hard to post every single day. So, what do I prepare for today? For today, I prepare this amazing video because I'm running out of ideas and I don't know how to go viral. And the truth is, I have no idea how to go viral. I'm trying my best. I'm posting every single day. I try new hooks. I make the content laboratory and search for what is working, what is not working. I try to replicate the things that are working, but I still have like 300 views, 500 views per video. So that's a very huge problem, bro. So let me share a screen with you guys. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. But I will move myself to the other corner. Perfect. And the counter, bro. One of the most important is the counter. Because we are 157 subscribers. Yesterday we were 100. Let me check. 57 subscribers. So I post a new short. I hope you like that short. So let's watch this video.
I taught 100 kids this one skill that if you learn it, you're almost guaranteed to make your first million. I've gone from dead broke at 20
million, bro. It's guaranteed. Okay.
That if you learn it, you're almost guaranteed to make your first million. I've gone from dead broke at 24 to a millionaire at 27, and today I help business owners generate millions for themselves. In fact, I've helped over 10,000 business owners around the world get rich, but I'm on a mission to make young millionaires. So I'm gonna take you behind the scenes and show you how to make millions, even if you're starting from nothing. Now, this one skill will make you a millionaire, but there's also 3 other skills that if you stack them, it's a guarantee. The first skill is sales and persuasion. A business is started the moment you sell something to a stranger. Not before, not getting ready, not registering your incorporation, not setting up your Stripe account, not getting the website ready, not setting up your Instagram. The moment a stranger buys from you, the business is started. Now, there's only 3 S's of selling that if you understand, you're able to get somebody to part with their money, which is wild and awesome the first time you do it. The first point is that the first sale starts with yourself.
You ever talk to somebody and they're saying all the right things, but you know damn well they don't believe in themselves?
Yes.
Yeah, their eyes are twitchy, or they're too aggressive, or they're like, it's almost like they're reading from a script, and it feels like it's not real. Whereas other people, when they talk, they don't even have to talk fast. They don't have to use big words. They don't have to be aggressive in their ask. They just talk with a level of confidence and certainty, and you go, oh, that person believes in what they're talking about. Does that make sense? Say yes.
Yes.
See, when I'm talking to somebody about what they sell and I look them in the eyes, it's not do I believe you, it's do I believe you believe in what you're saying. I can tell, and if I feel you haven't sold yourself, I'm not buying. The second is signal, your body language, how you show up.
Have you ever
I believe you believe in what you're saying. I can tell, and if I feel you haven't sold yourself, I'm not buying. The second is signal.
Three S's of selling. 3 of selling. Number 1. So.
It's not do I believe you, it's do I believe you believe in what you're saying. I can tell, and if I feel you haven't sold yourself, I'm not buying. The second is signal, your body language, how you show up.
Have you ever talked to somebody and they can't even look you in the eyes? As soon as I look somebody in the eye and they look away, especially if they're a salesperson, I just see somebody that's not confident in themselves, hence they're not confident in the product and they're not confident in the ability to service the sale. Anytime you buy something from somebody, you're asking yourself, will this person take care of me after the sale? So if you want to go door to door, like I said, if I'm standing like this in somebody's door versus like this, what do you think that communicates? This feels pushy, right? Imagine you open the door and there's a person like this. Hey, I'm just asking about your gutters or, the painting in your house. You're gonna be like, yo, like, get out of my yard. Versus I go, knock, knock, and as soon as I knock, knock, I take a step back and I'm looking away. They open up the door, I'm doing this, and I just like, oh, I didn't even think you're gonna be home. Hey, my name's Dan. I was just noticing, da 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 da. And then you get a coffee cup, and they're like, oh, this is just a person in the neighborhood. They're trying to help me out. Way different communication.
If you just show up with a coffee cup, you all of a sudden communicate to the person that you're chill, you're relaxed, you're just walking around trying to help people out, not sure if you're a fit. That style with that coffee cup will make you more money. And most people don't realize how they're signaling to a buyer that they're not serious. The third is secure. You have to get a commitment. Most people do all the work, literally the whole conversation, and never ask for the sale.
First sales call, I get on a sales call and I'm selling. And I've got like my outline, okay? Start here, then I go there, then I go there, then I go there. I've got like
ask for. Most people do all the work.
Okay, number
Third is secure. You
important.
have to get a commitment. Most people do all the work, literally the whole conversation, and never ask for the sale.
First sales call, I get on a sales call and I'm selling. And I've got like my outline, okay? Start here, then I go there, then I go there, then I go there, then I go there, okay? So I feel like I've listened to a bunch of CDs and I've taught myself how to sell and I'm really excited. So I do the thing. Hey, tell me about your situation. They're talking. Oh my God, they're talking. It's so great. Okay. Then I go, well, tell me more about that pain. That sounds hard. Tell me about that. And they're like, oh yeah, it is hard. I'm like, okay, now they're telling me about their problem. Then I say, well, what made you decide to reach out? Now they're selling them on me and why they reach out. Oh my God, this is so good. And then I go, well, where do you want to go from here? And they go, well, how does it work working with your software? And I go, oh, geez, they asked me about my software. And I tell them about the software. And I go, does that sound good? And they sound, that's great. And guess what I do? I get too excited, I get nervous, and I'm scared. What do I forget to do? Ask for the order. Do you know most salespeople are scared to ask for the sale? Why? Because they don't want the no. If I never ask you, you never say no, I can't be rejected.
I have a guy in one
For the sale. Why? Do you know most salespeople are scared to ask for the sale? Why? Because they don't want the no. If I never
But you will receive a lot of no's in your life. So you just need to take the risk. One important lesson we learned from Simon Squibb yesterday, I think was yesterday, I'm not sure, but was that you need to take risk. You need to find a way to minimize those risks, but you need to take risks. It's not the harder you work, the luckier you get. It's the more risks you take, the luckier you get.
ask you, you never say no, I can't be rejected.
I have a guy in one of my companies on the sales team, and every time you look at the leaderboard, this guy does 3 times more than everybody else. And everybody that sees the leaderboard goes, hey, what makes that guy special? I'll tell you. Yeah, he's good. He follows the process, but he just makes more offers. I think most people reject themselves before the buyer ever rejects them. If you don't learn the 3 S's, you'll always be wondering, what does it look like to actually build a real business? Now that's the first skill, but you need 2 more before you get to stack it with the master skill. Which brings us to the second skill, public speaking and communication. People see me talk and they see this confident, clear, concise person. They go, hey man, how did you learn to speak? You're so good at it. My first talk was a complete mess You can literally go on YouTube and search my name and find me on a dark stage. I didn't even make sense to me. I'm watching that going, what was I thinking? I need you to understand, we all start horrible.
Is he gonna cut? Oh.
Jordan on the move, baseline left. Huh? Oh, no!
The only difference is how fast can you get good.
So I'm starting horrible. People criticize my English, people criticize my content. I receive a lot of criticisms, but I keep trying. I post every single day. Even if I have no viewers, I continue posting, I continue improving, I continue learning every single day, every single time. I look for more opportunities to take risks and to try new things. Even if I fail, you can try again. You can always try again. Right now I feel horrible right now. I go live every single day, but every single day I'm improving my English, I'm improving my skills, I'm learning every single day. Probably there are days in which I have 0 viewers, others where I have 2 viewers, others where I have 1 viewer, but I keep trying. So take risks, guys. The best advice I can give you is take risks. Bro, we are 157 subscribers. I'm glad. But it's hard. I feel horrible. The deep of my heart, I feel like I can no longer do this thing. I can no longer continue posting every single day because it's really hard. But I know I need to post every single day. I know I need to try to improve my English every single day, even if I'm failing. Even if my pronunciation wasn't correct, even if my streams are boring, I improve every single day and I continue. So I know one day, a year from now, I will have $1 million because I do the things I know I need to do in order to get the outputs I want to get.
Seconds to go, puts it up.
The only
Listen to this part, guys. Listen to this part.
The only difference is how fast can you get good.
How fast can you get good? I want to rewatch this part.
Was a complete mess. You can literally go on YouTube and search my name.
My first stream was horrible and I deleted it because I was just testing. And I deleted that stream. The duration was about 10 minutes. And I start with day 354 days left. I started with the stream 354 days left to make $1 million. Day 1, day 2 trying to make $1 million. So I started with that stream, and my streams are horrible, but I still improving.
And find me on a dark stage. I didn't even make sense to me. I'm watching that going, what was I thinking? I need you to understand, we all start horrible.
Is he gonna cut? Oh.
Jordan on the move, baseline left. Huh?
Doing horrible streams, horrible content, but I'm trying to give you the best content possible. So I know one day I will give you content better than Mr. Beast content.
Oh, no!
One day I will give you content better than Mr. Beast content.
Understand, we all start horrible.
Is he gonna cut? Oh.
Jordan on the move, baseline left. Huh? Oh, no!
The only difference is how fast can you get good.
Jordan with 2 seconds to go, puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan.
In the air, shows up. He made it.
Your ability to communicate clearly and concisely will open more doors than your degree ever will. When I'm teaching my friends on how to communicate your ability to communicate clearly and concisely will open more doors than your degree ever will.
Wow. I need to take notes.
To communicate clearly and concisely.
Okay. Important lesson. Your ability to communicate clearly and
will open more doors than your
will open more doors.
degree ever will.
If you want to learn how to communicate, I really recommend you to watch videos from this guy. His name is Ben Gayang. This is the best speaker I know. He's the best. You can learn a lot from this guy. Just a recommendation.
When I'm teaching my friends on how to communicate and speak, these are 3 steps that I teach every time so they speak like a pro. The first one is you got to embrace the nerves. I will tell you, before I shoot videos, I shoot reels, there are 3 steps that I teach every time so they speak like a pro. The first one is you got to embrace the nerves. I will tell you, before I shoot videos, I shoot reels, I go on stage, I literally get nervous. Why? Because I care. I always go, hey Dan, just serve, man. Just like be here, be with the people. Here's the kicker though. Don't make it about you, make it about the audience. All the hard work's done. You know, you got invited to speak. You're on the stage. Maybe you got paid. Let's just deliver. And when you embrace those nerves and make it about the audience and not about yourself, all of a sudden that energy is felt by people. The second area is know your shit. I can't tell you the amount of times I see people nervous, stumbling, turn red, freaking out. Why? They're talking about stuff they've never done. And you don't have to be further along. It's not like you can't teach a millionaire how to improve their marketing if you're not a millionaire.
Okay, in my case, I need to become an expert about shoes. Bro, I need to become a shoe expert. Bro, that's the reason why I'm watching a lot of videos about shoes, because I need to become a shoe expert in order to sell the best running shoes in the world. That's one thing I'm trying to do, to make $1 million. So my business, big way, I want to sell running shoes with that business. So I need to become the best in that area.
But there needs to be something you've done within that area of marketing that is impressive and that will teach that person. Ideally, it comes on the back end of volume. 10 is impressive and that will teach that person you've done within that area of marketing that is impressive and that will teach that person. Ideally, it comes on the back end of volume, 10,000 hours type of stuff.
There's reps required. Can you imagine somebody saying, I didn't make the NBA and I only shot like 10 free throws a month? Okay, Steph Curry, does anybody know how many free throws he shoots before a game every time, 100% of the time? Does anybody know that number? It's 500. Okay, like if you listen to Kobe and his practices, he would do 3 a days. He realized if I wake up early, I could practice at 4 in the morning. then go back with the family, recover, go back, practice again at like noon, and then go back and meet up with the team at 4 and practice again. Well, everybody else is doing 1, he's doing 3. I'm gonna say this so that you guys really understand it. Like, listen to my words, because as I share it, you might not hear it, so pay attention. Winners lose more than losers.
I love this quote. I love this quote. Winners lose more than losers. So I'm losing. I've been 51 days losing. I have 51 horrible days in which I didn't go viral. So I lose 51 times more because I upload shorts and I go live every single day. So multiply that by 2. Multiply that by 2. So 102 times. I lose 102 times. I've been failing during 51 days, bro. So I'm closer to finally win. I'm one step closer to finally win, bro.
And to the parents, if you're watching the live feed, let your kids fail or they'll become losers.
If you know your shit and you practice, it's hard to mess it up. The last one, number 3, is tell stories, not facts. You've probably heard this quote that nobody's gonna remember what you said, they're gonna remember how you made them feel. What I've seen the best of the best do when it comes to speaking community.
Whoa. Wait. That's important.
Tell stories, not facts. You've probably heard this quote that nobody's gonna remember what you said.
I never heard this quote. This is the first time I heard this quote. Okay.
They're gonna remember how you made them feel. What I've seen the best of the best do when it comes to speaking communication is they tell stories. They tell emotional, heartfelt stories. Now, not just any story. This is the kicker. They tell the story that explains to the audience why they know that information. They use the story to connect with the audience, to have them self-reflect on their journey and where they're at in that process. And it's not about the facts. Yes, you can talk about like deep AI, networking, like some of the nerdy stuff I do, but that's not what's gonna get them to remember me. What's gonna get them to remember is using my story to connect the information with the heart. When you do those things, you can't lose. Before we get to the master skill, there's one more skill you need to learn. Now, the third skill to stack is connecting and networking. I believe that your life is a byproduct of your environment, and the people in your environment are gonna dictate your success. When I was in my early 30s and I moved back to my hometown where I grew up, but I didn't know other millionaires, I had to do the work to reestablish my network. I was coming back from living in San Francisco, where you can't throw a rock and not hit other successful tech entrepreneurs. I couldn't even tell you one successful person in my hometown other than my brother and my best friends, because I just was disconnected. So here's what I did. I decided to organize an event, essentially a dinner, with my buddy who's a chef, a great friend, Shah, who came and spoke, and then curate each table. And then I cold called a handful of entrepreneurs that I got names for, and I tried to figure out if they were the right fit. So as crazy as the night it happens, you gotta understand, there's 80 people in the room, and I've never met any of them in person. It was almost like the world's largest.
Okay, wait guys, wait. The third step.
People in your environment are going to dictate your success. When I was in my early 30s and I moved back to my hometown where I grew up, that your life. Now the third skill to stack is
Connecting and network. Skill number 3, we have sales and persuasion, public speaking and communication, and connecting and networking.
connecting and networking. I believe that your life is a byproduct of your environment, and the people in your environment are going to dictate your success. When I was in my early 30s and I moved back to my hometown where I grew up, but I didn't know other millionaires, I had to do the work to reestablish my network. I was coming back from living in San Francisco, where you can't throw a rock and not hit other successful tech entrepreneurs. I couldn't even tell you one successful person in my hometown other than my brother and my best friends, because I just was disconnected. So here's what I did. I decided to organize an event, essentially a dinner, with my buddy who's a chef, a great friend, Shah, who came and spoke, and then curate each table. And then I cold called a handful of entrepreneurs that I got names for, and I tried to figure out if they were the right fit. So as crazy as the I invest in their businesses with, I partnered with him. Business, I did play dates with my kids or traveled the world with, and it's available to.
I like making my podcast. I don't like making short clips of my podcast. So
everybody, no matter how small your town is. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So when young people ask me how to upgrade your network,
oh bro, I like that quote. If you are
in the room, to everybody, no matter how small your town is. If you're the smartest person,
if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room, bro. Wow, that's true, because you can't learn. It's simple, bro. But if you are not the smartest person in the room, if you are a dump in that room, probably you are in the right room, because you can learn a lot from others.
Person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So when young people ask me how to upgrade your network, this is exactly what I tell them. First off, think of events. Why are events so powerful? Well, think of events. Why are events so powerful? Well, one, you have a reason to reach out to these really successful people and bring them into your world. When my buddy Marcel called me up one day and he's like, hey man, I want to get to know more people. I said, run an event. He's like, but I don't know anybody. I said, that's the whole point. You have a platform you create, which is a stage. You invite them to speak on it, which gives them a reason to show up. You're the one that coordinates the conversation with that person so you get to know them. Then you use that person speaking to go recruit people to come listen, which is a wildly productive strategy. See, when I moved to San Francisco and I was asking myself, who is the person that knows all the people I want to meet? It occurred to me that the event organizers, they were the center of the hub. They knew all the speakers, they knew all the people, and they weren't being harassed every day by people on social media because they have big audiences. Most of these organizers didn't have a lot of people who even knew who they were. So that's who I built relationships with. The second is hyper-personalized email. Now, this one requires work because you can't cold email somebody and expect them to reply if they don't think you've done a little bit of work to get to know who they are. The amount of people that send me Mr. Martel, Dan Martel, like literally cold email templates gone wrong. When my buddy Chris messaged me years ago and not only referenced something he saw on my stories on Facebook, but he also mentioned a recent video I just uploaded on YouTube. And he was very clear that he doesn't know me or anybody that knows me, but he has a way to help me support my business, and that if I'd be open to it, that it'd be really quick and it would take 3 minutes. I replied and said, shoot the video, send it over. These hyper-personalized emails are so powerful. Chris not only delivered on his promise, he's made me tens of millions of dollars and is still somebody that is in my life. He actually helped me edit my book, Buy Back Your Time, which is wild. How are you gonna stand out amongst all the emails? What are you gonna do to make it seem like you took the time and the effort to actually get to know the person you're messaging? If you want my email template for cold emailing people, just find me on Instagram and just message me the word YouTube cold email, and I'll send it to you, because in it talks about how do you mention something recent in their life that makes it look hyper personalized and relevant. And the second thing is, how do you do an ask that is so simple that gets the person to almost guarantee they give you a reply? Now, the third is similar to one, which is host a meetup, but I do these all the time virtually. So for example, I'm building out one, which is host a meetup, but I do these all the time virtually. So for example, I'm building out my AI venture studio, Martel Ventures, and my only goal is to connect with other people in the AI space. So all I do is I scroll on Instagram, scroll on TikTok, I identify people talking about this stuff, and I invite them to a meetup. It's essentially a Zoom lunch meeting. I call it the AI Expert Roundtable. Everybody introduces themselves, they talk about what they're working on, what's good, what's bad, and everybody else tries to just be helpful. It's super informal, super easy, and anybody can run them. I actually have my team run them. I just show up as an attendee. It makes it a lot of fun for me, and I can do it no matter where I'm traveling. Now that you've learned sales, public speaking, and networking, there's one master skill that if you learn, you're guaranteed to make millions. The final, most important skill is content creation and storytelling. What's wild is most people are new to me in the last 16 months, but I've been doing YouTube religiously for almost 10 years. And I finally hit 1 million subscribers. It took 8 years to get to 100K, and then things ramped up because I realized content creation, building my personal brand, and learning how to communicate better, tell stories, is the future. You've probably heard this, but attention is the new oil. You have to learn to tell stories so well that people stop scrolling and actually lean in. There are only two bets that I think are worth making on the future. One is AI and the other one is personal brand. So understanding this fourth master skill takes the rest of them and amplifies it. So when I'm teaching this to young millionaires, I always start with study the best so that you can make your social media feed a masterclass and a university of growth.
I want to learn about AI.
Ooh, my favorite topic. What passion topic do you like? What are you passionate about?
Fighting.
Okay, look at this. AI UFC. Look at that. This guy's using AI to create UFC fighters. So then what you do is you go and you go FYP, FYP. By doing that, I told the algorithm, I like that, send me more. You're gonna do it. Pick this guy. This guy looks like he's talking about stuff. What's he talking about? ChatGPT predicts UFC. That's cool. That's cool. Wouldn't you want to know how to do that? Okay, now go to his comments and then type FYP, For You page. So what that does is it tells the algorithm that you want to receive more content like this. So next time you go on TikTok, guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna learn AI by going on social media. Do you like going on social media? So do I. But I don't like to waste my time. I wanna learn stuff that's gonna help my future. So now you go do a thing you like to do, and while you're doing it, you're learning cool stuff. Cool? Awesome question.
The second is you gotta create daily. Most people can't be consistent, so just creating daily sets you apart from everybody else. It's about volume over perfection, and the more you iterate and learn, not just repeat, because that's what most people do, is how you will learn faster than most. Trust me, it doesn't take a long time to get good. You just have to start to get good. The third area is about getting feedback.
Does anybody know Jimmy's YouTube name? Mr. Beast. There we go. You guys all know Jimmy, that's good. Mr. Beast today, I think is mid-20s, and is one of the first $1 billion YouTubers. If you didn't know that, he's a billionaire. He's a YouTuber. What I love about Mr. Beast is the fact that he started, I think at 11 years old, and posted 100 videos.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
I'm recording on my phone. Anyways, but
he literally published and published and published and didn't have any traction. Didn't have, like some of the people today come out of nowhere and all of a sudden they have 100,000 subscribers, right? Sam Sulek, if anybody's in the fitness space, literally blew up, million subs, million views per video. Mr. Beast doesn't have that story. He has the normal story. So you might see me today and go, damn, that's cool, bro. Million, wow. But are you willing to do what I've done? Are you willing to do what Mr. Beast did? He published, he published, he published, he tried things, it didn't work, he kept trying, he became addicted, he became obsessed, he went all in. And if you're not willing to do the reps, you're not gonna get the results, okay? Reps equal results. Does that make sense? Say yes. What
Reps equal results.
he's saying is do a video, iterate something to make it 1% better, post it, do it again, post it. Look at the analytics, look at your retention graphs, look at the tweaks, ask for feedback. If you're just
Okay, to make $1 million in just 1 year, what I need to do right now is create content, and try to give my best. No, not try. Give my best in every piece of content I create. That's what I need to do right now, guys.
posting and ghosting and not getting anybody else in your life to review what you did and give you feedback or reading the comments or looking at the fact that nobody watched, then you're never going to get good at this. The fourth is pick one format. Most people make the mistake of doing all things at the same time and they get overwhelmed and they can't be consistent and they can't find the time to edit the videos and tweak the content. It's crazy. Just pick one format: long form, short form, carousel posts, podcasts. It could be tweets. Just choose the one that you know you would love to do and you would do it for a really long period of time.
Long format videos. Right now I'm creating short format videos, but I really love editing long format videos. I can create a very good story. I love that. Probably I need to focus more on long format videos.
My philosophy is dedicate a decade. If you give me 10 years of posting, learning how to tell stories, being a content creator, and you go all in, I guarantee on the backside of that, you will have $1 million in your bank account. Now, if you want to learn how to build a business that runs itself, click the video and I'll see you on the other side.
Whoa, bro, super powerful information. Thank you so much, Dan Martel, for this information. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you watch this video in the future, probably I have 10 billion subscribers. There are only 8 billion people in the whole planet. Probably aliens. I have aliens watching my streams. Who knows, bro, who knows? The aliens will watch my streams in the future. Probably in 5 years. Who knows, bro? But for now, I have 0 viewers, no problem. I will keep posting, I will keep learning, I will keep trying. Thank you so much, guys. We are 157 subscribers. 157 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. I will continue posting. I post a new short today. So let's watch that short, please, and I will keep improving and keep learning. One thing I need to do to be successful, because I need to learn from others. One lesson was get feedback. If I connect with other people, if I create an event for content creators, I will learn a lot, and that's all. So the most important lesson is connecting and networking. The most important lesson from this video. And wow, there's another important lesson. Nobody is going to remember what you said. They are going to remember how you made them feel. Bro, I need to improve. I need to improve my storytelling. Because at this point, my storytelling sucks, bro. But if I improve my storytelling, just imagine, probably I will got one viral video. I will get one viral video. For now, okay, let me share screen. one more time. A recommendation for you guys. This guy is the one of the best speakers in the world. If you want to learn, bro, follow this guy. Subscribe to his channel, because you can learn a lot from this guy. This is for me the best speaker in the world right now. So right now, what I'm doing right now to make $1 million. So right now I'm learning, I'm posting every single day, I'm creating a reputation on social media, and I'm starting my shoe brand. I recently buy a shoes similar to the ones I want to sell, just to test, just to learn, because I need to become an expert on shoes. I need to become an expert in shoes. That's what I need to do right now, become an expert in shoes. A shoe expert. So I also
You
want
know
to
AI
watch
can
this
do
video.
incredible things, but this isn't. With Artlist's AI,
There's only 8 specific frameworks that a business needs to run on autopilot. There's only
I need to learn about how to run a business, because I already have a business and I had other business before starting Big Way. I was selling a marketing service to other business owners, and was a failure, bro. Was a failure, but I get back up and try again and start a new business. I need to try and keep going. One day I will have 1 billion viewers. That's a promise. 1 billion viewers per stream in the future.
8 specific frameworks that a business needs to run on autopilot and make you money while you sleep. Without these, a business can't scale effectively or make you financially free. While some of these seem counterintuitive, they're what I use today to run multiple companies that make me millions of dollars where I'm not involved, and what I've learned spending time with some of the richest people on the planet. So without further explaining it, these are the 8 frameworks to build a business that runs itself. The first framework is the 10-80-10 rule. Most people don't ever understand how to get free from their business. As an example, this video, if I use the 10-80-10 rule, it's the first 10% is ideation. It's when I sit down with my team and we ideate around the ideas, the positioning, the packaging, the thumbnail, the titles, to really get the core concept right. That's the first 10%. I'm involved there. The next 80%, I'm not. That's all about execution. Think about the production side of it. About the next 80%, I'm not. That's all about execution. Think about the production side of it, about choosing locations, the videos, the lights, the setup. I just sit down and show up and talk to you guys. Everything's outlined, everything's figured out. That's the 80% that's managed by other people on my team. And then the last 10% is when they call me in to review the integration. How does the video get published? How do we engage other people to promote it so we get more audience? If you do it this way, that's how you get a lot of creative projects done without eating up all of your time. For example, Steve Jobs would do this with Johnny Ives. He would go into the design studio and Johnny was there and they would collaborate and ideate, and Steve would learn about this new little hard drive or this new technology for screens or whatever it is, and he would just share that with Johnny, and then Johnny would go off, and the 80% is the prototyping, creating simulations or playing around with the different ideas, and then the last 10% is the integration, is when Steve would take a finished product and then present it on stage. Technology for collaborating. Jobs would do this with Johnny Ives. He would go into the design studio and Johnny was there and they would collaborate and ideate, and Steve would learn about this new little hard drive or this new technology for screens or whatever it is, and he would just share that with Johnny, and then Johnny would go off, and the 80% is the prototyping, creating simulations or playing around with the different ideas, and then the last 10% is the integration, is when Steve would take a finished product and then present it on stage at one of their events. That is still how Tim Cook does it today. The first 10% is the roadmap and figure out where they're going to go. 80% is done by Johnny. The last 10% is integration. Most people.
okay, how can I apply this concept to my own business? Ideation, execution, integration. Right now, okay, ideation 10%, execution 10%, integration 10%, execution 80%, integration 10%. Right now, what I'm selling is my content. So I need to apply this same concept, the rule of 10, 80, 10, to the content creation. Because I'm not selling shoes right now. I'm selling my content.
Just assume, well, I'm a magical snowflake and I'm very different and my process is very artistic and nobody else could do it like me. That's a story you're telling yourself to stay stuck. And the sooner you address that, the sooner you're going to get free from your business and actually build a business that other people can grow and scale and you can collaborate with. I'll tell you, it's just a lot more fun. Which brings us to number 2, which is the drip matrix. And I copied this right out of my book, Buy Back Your Time. I believe every task sits on 2 axes, one of money and one of energy. Bottom is things that light you up, that give you energy. There's probably work that you do every day that honestly you'd probably do for free. That's the kind of stuff that I call green energy. But in the same token, there's probably things you're working on that would suck your energy, that just feel like a chore. And those are red energy. On the other side is things that make you money. There's like $10 tasks in your business that got to get done, but they're not making you money versus actually doing the work. If you could spend 40 hours a week just doing work that makes you $100 an hour, that's how you get rich. So I broke it down into these 4 quadrants, and this is the drip matrix. The first is D, which is delegation. You want to look at your time and ask yourself, what are things that I'm currently doing that I really shouldn't be doing anymore? Then we move up to replacement. As you start a company and you build, you want to replace your time with other people that own these areas of the business. Replacement is really the idea of saying, over time, as my business grows, I have to stop doing certain types of work. Once you get that time back, then we go to I, which is investment. And investment is about understanding how to fill your time with things that light you up, that make you more money. Because if you do this, this is how we build a business that you don't grow to hate. The top level is production. This is the work that you love to do, that you want to do, that honestly, if you could do for the rest of your life, there'd never be a moment where you'd have to retire from. In my book, I call it building an empire, because an empire is a life of unlimited creation you never have to retire from. If you spend all of your time in the top right corner of the quadrant, it's impossible to get to a place where you feel overwhelmed, where your calendar is sucking and there's chaos in your life to not want to continue building the business. Which brings us to number 3, which is ATF. Some people read my book and delegate everything and then call me and say, man, this is great. Like, I have barely any work to do. And I'm like, that's not the key. See, the whole point is to buy back your time to then reinvest it in things that light you up, make you more money, or build the machine that runs the machine. That's why it's called the production or the investment quadrant. So my philosophy is that anytime I feel overwhelmed, I always go back to this process. The first step is audit. And what I want to do is I want to look at the previous 2 weeks of my life and do 2 things. I want to first highlight everything in my calendar that's red, that takes my energy, yellow, that feels good, but honestly, I don't love doing it, and green are things that I absolutely love doing. That's the energy side. Then I want to evaluate every one of those tasks through a cost. How much would it cost me to pay somebody else to do for me? So $1 sign is a very cheap task, like a $10 task. And then $4 signs is paying somebody to do my job. $1, $2, $3, and $4. So then what I do is I take the overlap of everything that's red in my calendar or yellow that's $1 sign or $2 signs, and I put that into a bucket. And that is the only next hire I make. Step 2 is to transfer. So whatever you identified, then you take that and you transfer it to somebody else. The way I do that is a framework called the camcorder method, because I believe it's easier to just record myself doing the work, talking out loud, have 3 or 4 or 5 of these recordings so that when I hire that person and they come on.
Wait. Olin.
On board, I just have them watch those videos so that they get trained up without taking my time. That's called net time, no extra time. The third step is F, which is fill. You want to fill your time with activities in the production time. The third step is F, which is fill. You want to fill your time with activities in the production or investment quadrant. Things that light you up, that make you a lot of money, and honestly make you a better person. The truth is the world will not get easier.
We're learning about business. I'm glad you're here.
you get better. So if you want to make more money, you have to add the skills, the habits, the beliefs that are going to allow you to do more, because if not, you just won't be able to make more money. So there's two parts. Most people will never let things go because they're worried that they're going to make a mistake or embarrass them or honestly cost them their business. But if they can learn to at least let things go, then the next step is to actually value themselves. See, most people just don't believe they're worth it. So they don't invest in training, coaching, mentorship. And because of that, they never get exposed to new ideas because they have this subconscious belief that they don't deserve their success.
Hace unos años, montar un embudo era suficiente. Hoy, eso es exactamente por lo que la mayoría...
And those two things of fear of letting go and don't believe they're worth it are going to stop people from playing a bigger life. Which brings us to 4, which is the camcorder method. I coach a lot of the top CEOs in the business space, and even they struggle to get things off of their plate. My philosophy is that if you buy back your time, make sure it stays sold. So I'm going to share with you a very simple 6-step process that nobody ever talks about that's going to take anything on your plate and give it to somebody else and make sure it gets done 100% the way you want it without taking a bunch of training. The first step is the outline. So I want you to sit down. Let's say we take social media posting, like somebody posting on Instagram for you. I want you to outline what that process would look like. Number 2 is you want to identify the criteria. So what makes a good social media post? Maybe you've never outlined it, but maybe it is that it's got your humor, it follows your brand guidelines, it's got great copy, it's posted at the right time of day. Think about what are the 5 to 7 criteria that would tell you it was done right, because you're going to use this later. Number 3 is...
Okay, probably in this point are the humor, the constancy, because I post every single day, bro. And it's very difficult. Okay, I need to define that.
To collect examples of highest performing stuff you've done in the past, bad examples where somebody messed up, you might have messed up. You want to take any training videos or any links or checklists that you might have and collect all of that and put it in a document that you're going to give the person. So step 4 is to record. And you want to literally record yourself doing the work. I like to use my iPad often where I'll share my screen, record it, and even the voice. Loom is great. Zoom is another one where I'll have a meeting.
Loom. But the problem of Loom is that you have a maximum of 5 minutes. You can record a maximum of 5 minutes. Otherwise, you have to pay premium. That's the problem with Loom. I recommend you There's another program similar to Loom, because the problem of Loom is you have only 5 minutes or you have to pay premium. Okay, I don't remember the name. I will search for that app.
By myself, but the key is to do the work, talk out loud, and have that recording of you doing the thing you want somebody else to do. Step 5 is to transfer. This is when they start. I have people start on day 1 and they don't do anything other than watch videos for 3 or 4 days. So you give them all the recordings, you bundle it up, you put it in a Google Doc and say, start at the top and watch every link in this document. Then you have them create the checklist or the standard operating procedure for how people should do it themselves in the future. Why? Because that's going to tell you if they understood what you put in the videos. Have them write down questions that come up as they're going through the videos so that you understand that they understood what you asked them to do. Quality of their questions is going to tell you the quality of their understanding. The last step is review. And this is where quality of their questions is going to tell you the quality of their understanding. The last step is review. And this is where, as they're doing the work, you use the criteria you outlined at the beginning to review and give them a rating based on how well they followed those steps and produced the output. That's where you coach them to get better and you train them to get better. If you follow these 6 steps, it's impossible for the work that you to get better and you train them to get better. If you follow these 6 steps, it's impossible for the work that you give somebody else to end up back on your plate. Which brings us to number 5, which is the 50 to fix it. I remember one time I was coaching the CEO and I asked him why he was so overwhelmed, and he showed me his calendar. And it was coaching the CEO, and I asked him why he was so overwhelmed, and he showed me his calendar. And it was crazy. CEO, and I asked him why he was so overwhelmed.
What's the book?
Okay. And he showed me his calendar, and it was crazy. He had about 2 hours in his calendar dedicated almost daily where he was approving every transaction in his company. Like, nobody could spend money without requesting it, and he reviewed it and he approved it. The challenge with that is that you then become the bottleneck, and the bottleneck is called that because it's at the top. What I like to do is I like to push decisions down to my team, and the 50 to fix it is an example of that. No matter who on my team is struggling to solve a problem, if they can get the problem solved for $50, I encourage them to just spend the money and expense it. Now, this might sound crazy to some of you because you feel like you lose control real quick. So what I always do is say, after you spend the money, you have to tell your leader so that they're aware. Because what you'll find out is oftentimes people are spending money to fix a frustrated customer, a vendor that didn't show up, a designer or somebody on your team that's not delivering fast enough. So they just hire some contractor to do the work. And that's a feedback loop to the leader that there's something broken in the business. So you never want to stop somebody from making something better, but you also want to get that feedback loop so you have an opportunity to improve your process. Now, for me, I take it to another level that most people would be scared to do. So managers can spend up to $500 without permission. Directors can spend up to $5,000 without permission. Executives can spend up to $50,000 without permission, even if it's outside their budget. The only thing I ask, no different than my frontline employees, is that they tell their manager on their next one-on-one. So again, they can have conversations about priorities and planning and budgeting, and just learn to make better decisions. Unlocking that ability to empower your team to make decisions, to solve problems and move forward will bring so much revenue into your business this calendar year. It will overpay for the amount of people spending that money. The reason why the 50 to fix it works so well is that it allows you to empower people to make decisions so that you're not involved. So while you're on vacation or you're spending time with your family, everybody.
Okay, guys, at this point, I was thinking, I have a question for you guys. Do you have a business? That's my question for you. Because, okay, probably my streams, I don't know if my streams are boring for you, but I'm learning. I'm trying to make $1 million in just 1 year, so I also want to help other people. I want to help others with their business, with their dreams. So my question for you is, do you have a business? It's an interesting question because right now I'm a business owner, but I'm an entrepreneur. But do you have a business? And what type of business do you have? And how do you plan to apply all this information to your own business? Because I want to help you as well. You are helping me a lot right now. So my question for you is that,
in your business is making decisions without you having to be an approver. If everything rolls up to the top, then you'll always be a prisoner to your business. You want to empower people down within the company, within reason, to make decisions, to solve problems, to make things better without you being involved. Which brings us to number 6, which is the 1-3-1 rule. A long time ago, I hired this HR guy named Adam, and his job was to hire people. We were growing really fast, and I needed somebody dedicated to recruiting. And after our first meeting, he comes to me and he's in a fluster and overwhelmed, and he's like, man, we got to hire 13 people in the next quarter.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone.
And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've never done that before. And I said, cool. And he's like, I don't know how to do it. I say, good. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out. He's like, well, how should I do it? And I said, well, Adam, I didn't hire you to tell you how to do your job. You came to me with the experience. I'm assuming you're a problem solver. I said, do you have a 1-3-1? He had heard me talk about it before, but he's like, are you really doing this to me? Yes, I'm doing this to you. So I said, how about we meet up tomorrow? You take the time to evaluate the different options, and then we'll meet tomorrow morning. The next morning, he texts me and he says, I'm good. See, Adam understood once he went through and defined the problem and evaluated the options that he knew the path forward. So here's how we get your team to make decisions without you feeling like you're losing control. So the first step is define the problem. Most people don't have a well-defined problem, or they're talking in circles about 3 or 4 different issues. So my question to them is, what problem are you trying to solve? Please define it crystal clear, because a well-defined problem is a problem half solved. The second step is 3 viable options. I want the person to present to me, Adam, what are the 3 options that you're going to consider to solve your recruiting process? As an entrepreneur, we need to hear this just so that we can feel calm. If we don't feel like they've exhausted all the options, we're feeling like they're being lazy or they're not aware, and it just doesn't feel good. I want to say this, doing nothing isn't an option. The third step is 1 recommendation. After they review the different options with you, I want to hear what their number 1 recommendation is based on those 3. And I'd say most of the time, I just agree and I empower them to move things forward. And if you ask everybody that comes to you with a problem to define their 1-3-1, what you'll learn really quick is you'll build a business that can run without you. Why? It pushes decisions. After they review the different options with you, I want to hear what their number 1 recommendation is based on those 3. And I'd say most of the time, I just agree and I empower them to move things forward. And if you ask everybody that comes to you with a problem to define their 1-3-1, what you'll learn really quick is you'll build a business that can run without you. Why? It pushes decisions down to your frontline workers where they have the most information to actually solve the problem. Honestly, most of you should not be trying to solve problems because you don't know what's really going on. So when you empower your team to make decisions, the business will grow without you. Which brings us to number 7, which is transformational leadership. When I was building my first successful company, even though I failed my first 2, at that point, I think year 2, I had about 12 employees reporting to me, and I was trying to lead. I'd wake up every day and I'd be like, okay, I got to get everybody doing the right thing and make sure all the plates were spinning, because I was just scared the whole thing was going to fall down on itself. So I'd wake up, I'd tell everybody what to do. Later in the afternoon, I'd check that they were on track and that it was getting done. And then by the end of the day or the next morning, I'd tell them what to do next. And I thought that was normal because that's all I'd ever been exposed to. The problem with that is that you don't get any of your own work done until later in the day. I mean, I would sometimes only start on my own projects at 6 p.m. and have to work till 11 or 1 in the morning because things had to get done the next day for clients or for partners or whatever. What I was doing is called transactional leadership, and it'll create a complexity ceiling that you can't break through. And it's a simple process of telling people what to do, check that they got done, and then tell them what to do next. Usually at about 12 employees, 13 employees, about 1.2, 1.4 million in revenue, it becomes chaotic. And at that level, most people end up getting to a place where the growth and the pain hurts too much. They either sell the business, they either sabotage their way down, which is crazy, or they decide to stall their growth. And for me, that's not an option. The better approach is what's called transformational leadership. And here's how it works. There's only 3 steps, but they're very powerful. Step 1 is you want to define the outcome that the person you're managing has to achieve. You don't tell them how to do it. You tell them what it looks like. You tell them how it feels. You tell them who's going to be involved. You got to get really good at painting a picture of success. Step 2 is you choose a number, some kind of measurement that's going to let them know if they're making progress. So if it's sales, it's how many sales did you get today? If it's marketing, how many leads did you get? Is customer support, how many emails did you reply to? Give them a measurement so that they know they're making progress towards that ideal outcome. The third step is coach. And this
my age is a secret, bro. It's a secret.
happens all the time where somebody is doing something, they're
how old do you think I am?
Measuring their progress and they don't deliver. The whole idea is that anytime you see them do something that's wrong, you write it down and you use your one-on-ones to actually train them up. If you do this, you invest in your people and eventually it'll take less and less and less time with that person, meaning that over
16, I look that young, bro. Wow. What's up, Trevor? 16. Okay, interesting.
A 6-month or 12-month period, your team gets better and better and better, and it frees up your time. If you keep telling people what they got to do and check they got done and tell them what to do next, you'll never build leaders in your business. And the whole point is build the people build the business. Which brings us to 8, which whole point
Whoa.
is build the people.
Build the people build the business.
people build the business. Which brings us to 8, which is the
Thank
coach.
you so much, bro. Thank you so much. I'm on my journey to make $1 million in just 1 year, bro. So if you want to watch me, if you want to see someone do the impossible, that's me. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
Coach framework. Have you ever felt like sometimes you're on a hamster wheel, giving the same feedback, the same advice to a new team member, and it just feels like it's the same thing over and over again? This is how you eliminate repeating yourself. It's using a framework that nobody ever teaches in business, which is actually how to develop your people or coach them up. So I break this down into 3.
Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. With all my heart. Thank you so much, bro. So right now we are 158 subscribers. Let's go, 158 subscribers. Thank you so much, bro. 158 subscribers. Let me make that celebration.
Steps. The first one is core issue. See, when somebody does something wrong, I don't attack the behavior or the activity. I talk about the principle. What was?
Just keep going, bro. Keep creating content. Create content, and make a content laboratory. If you don't know how to make a content laboratory, just go to analytics and see what is working on your content and then try to replicate that. I love Ronaldo as well. He's my favorite football player. He's amazing, bro. He's amazing. He's a big inspiration for me, bro. A big inspiration.
It about their behavior that violated a principle about how I think you should approach your work, and then I want to write that down. The principle, not the task. The second part is actual story, and it could be either my own story of how I learned this thing I'm about to teach them, or it could be an example of somebody I saw do it. And to use an actual story just makes it so much more real. So saying, hey, when I started off, I used to think this and I was always rushing through my work, and that meant that I ended up having to do rework, and it took more time for me to do the rework than if I just did it right in the first place. I remember my boss told me that one day, and he showed me within a week that I could save 10 hours a week if I just didn't do the rework by slowing down sometimes. So the principle is sometimes we go slow to go fast. The third part is change. And change is trying to enroll them or invite them into committing to us what they're going to change based on what I just shared with them. So I always tell the story and I just ask, based on what I shared, what's...
Thank you so much. And you are the most active subscriber I have, bro. You type a lot of messages. You're the most active subscriber I have right now, I think. Or probably Trevor. I'm not sure.
It's 1 or 2 things you're going to do different going forward. And it's their decision at the end of the day to make that commitment. Why? Because then they help build the plan, build the future. See, when people help build the plan, they don't fight the plan. And your job is to just present the information in a way that's really compelling for them to make a commitment to you to change their behavior so that they get better. The more people on your team get better, the less effort it's going to take you to manage the team.
You need to find A players. You need to have A players in your team. If you have A players, then you will succeed, bro. You need to get people that are in a higher level and get them low to work for you, bro. And how do you do that? With purpose. Probably if you have a big purpose, you can get them to work for you, or to go work with you, not for you, with you, bro. One important lesson that we learned from Simon Squibb was, I think that was from Simon Squibb, but you you have to give, you need to give equity to all members of your team. Even if you give a 10% of your company, doesn't matter, because it's better to have one of the biggest brands in the world and own only 10% of that brand than to have the worst brand in the world but own the 100% of that brand. Keep on going, and if people hate, don't listen. Okay, bro. I receive a lot of hate on TikTok, but I will take your advice. I will take your advice, bro.
So if you want to learn the only 4 skills you need to build a $1 billion company, click the link and I'll see you on the other side.
Probably I will need to rewatch this video, so I will save this video because it's one of the most valuable videos I found. This video is super powerful, so I will save this video. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys. Okay. Very important lesson for the team. If you have a team, first define the problem. Present 3 viable options. Ask your team for 3 viable options. Now, present your team 3 viable options and ask your team for recommendations. So, wow, that's super important, and this will be helpful in the future when I start selling shoes with Big Way and I have employees. This information is super useful. It's helpful, bro. Define the problem of your business, present 3 viable options, and ask for recommendations. That's important if you have a team. Okay, right now I have a team that is helping me with content creation and all this stuff. Thank you, bro. So I will apply this to my content creation team. These are the most valuable pieces of information I found from this video. Super important. Okay, right now I really need to sleep, so thank you so much, guys, for being here with me. I really appreciate that. Guys. Thank you so much. And we are 158 subscribers, bro. 158. Let's go, bro. Thank you so much, Claire Beer. Thank you so much. So that's all for today, guys. See you tomorrow. I post every single day. I go live every single day. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. I will keep learning, and I'm going to study this book, 100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. I highly recommend you this book, guys. That's all for today. Thank you so much. And remember, when are you gonna do another? Tomorrow, bro. Tomorrow. tomorrow I will go live. So for now, I will study this amazing book and learn to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. Okay.
And efficiently.
The last thing I want to say is try new things, live to your fullest, and if today was the last day of your life, what would you do? Do the things that you want to do. Don't be scared, don't be afraid. And remember that you only have one life, one shot.